So Joe and I watched a movie a few weeks ago named Chocolat. I don't know if you've seen it. And it's a film from about 20 years ago that had some notable actors: Johnny Depp, Judi Dench, Juliette Binoche. And I think it was nominated for 5 Academy Awards. So for those of you who haven't seen it, it's about a small provincial French town under the strict leadership of the mayor and the priest. But the mayor really had the upper hand. His grip on his Lenten fast was ferocious and tenacious, but empty and ungrounded. Other characters in the movie also cling to their Lenten customs, and their lives are shaped around the practices that keep them insulated and sometimes isolated and alienated from one another, and even from their own selves. However, just as the Lenten season begins, a woman named Vianne blows into town with her daughter and no husband and opens a chocolate shop. This woman has the ability to break down barriers the people of the village have enclosed themselves in. And through her hospitality and her chocolate, she starts getting to them. She welcomes them to her shop and is present to them and showers them with kindness, understanding, and they respond to her. She starts to transform people one by one. Of course, to the mayor and the parish priest, she's the devil, tempting the people of this small town with her lifestyle and her decadent confessions. So during the season of Lent, we are asked to look at what we are clinging to. These 40 days draw us into a wilderness in which we can more readily see what we have shaped our lives around, our daily lives, our habits, our practices, our possessions, conflicts, relationships. All the stuff we commit ourselves to in a way that sometimes becomes more instinctual rather than intentional. Just as Jesus went into the desert to pray and fast for 40 days, Lent offers us the opportunity to look at our lives in a different way, from a different perspective, so we can see what's essential and what's extraneous. And our Christian tradition gives us the Lenten fast as a way to gain this perspective. And at the core of this practice is a recognition that in giving something up that is precious to us, we are better able to make more room for God. The rituals and practices of Lent, or any spiritual practice, although meaningful and beautiful, always carries the risk that we will become more attached to the form of the practice than to its original intent. And then we completely miss the point. Like the mayor in Chocolat, we can easily become so invested in holding to a certain structure and tradition that it insulates us from God and isolates us from people. So Lent challenges us to see and sort through what we're attached to, including our attachments to the practices themselves. Jesus' words in the Gospel for Ash Wednesday underscore the kind of danger of that kind of attachment. In that Gospel reading, Jesus urges us to remember that being discreet about our practices helps us guard against the possibility of becoming overly identified with or prideful of them. So at the end of this film, the young Catholic priest, and he's new to the town, who up until that time has been having his homilies written and edited by the mayor, stands up on Easter Sunday morning. And he's a little timid. And he says, "I'm not sure what the theme of my homily should be today. Do I want to speak of the miracle of our Lord's divine transformation? Not really, no. I don't want to talk about his divinity. I'd rather talk about his humanity. I mean, you know how he lived his life, his kindness, his tolerance. And he seems to get a little stronger. He goes, listen, this is what I think. We can't go around measuring our goodness by what we don't do, by what we deny ourselves, what we resist, and who we exclude. I think we have to measure our kindness by what we embrace, what we create, and who we include. This little sermon at the end of the movie reveals a powerful truth. Jesus' divinity means very little if we don't embrace his humanity. Jesus' life was about inviting us to live as he did, in the Spirit, to value life and each other in love and hospitality. Let us not isolate ourselves this Lent. Let us be like the chocolate bird and embrace each other with our love, our presence, our hospitality, and maybe even a little chocolate.